No love. No love for Lando. Let's take a look. See what this is all about, shall we? So many Star Wars Hot Toys figures. This is going to be one of the ones that's going to get sidelined. It's going to get forgotten. It's going to be missed. Why, hello, folks. Danoby2 here. Thank you for joining me once again on a visual tour, but with a twist. This here Cloud City administrator, Lando Calrissian, came directly from Line Rock Toys. Hey, look, if you're not a day one pre-order like I am and wait until these things go into stock, what you need to do is explore every option that is presented to you. Line Rock Toys is based out of Hong Kong, and they're one of the retailers that I tend to buy. I buy from everywhere, but the big difference with Line Rock Toys is that on occasion you can find a really good deal. So when you get a chance, go check them out after the end of this video. And if in case you're wondering, I bought this at retail directly from them. I didn't get it for free, didn't get a super major discount or anything on it. Cool. All right, let's get back to this. You know, I don't blame collectors. I really don't. That if they had to pass up on this, because there's just so much goodness being released right now, especially with the stormtroopers, the shore troopers. God, there's just so much. But this is one of those characters that caters to my generation. I never saw Empire Strikes Back in movie theaters. I did see Return of the Jedi. If anybody's ever listened to any of my streams, Return of the Jedi is really the only one I remember as a kid seeing that in theaters. Oh, this is cool. What? Oh, look at that! Right, so that I see. This is neat. They added kind of like an action figure blister pack. That's cool. So I would support any character that comes out of Empire Strikes Back. I would. If Hot Toys decided to make it, right now I would. Anything classic trilogy, I would probably say confidently, I would say 100%. Yeah, 100% I would buy anything from Empire. I did not support New Hope, the New Hope line, when it came out in 2014, 2015. But if they were to reissue some of those, I would probably buy them. I'd buy them. Yeah, I was at the time. It wasn't that I hated them or I was against the New Hope Luke or the Princess Leia. It was just I was in the middle of my Iron Man crush, and those suits were just at the time were something that I had never seen before. Oh, this is cool. You got to check this out. Look at that. Look at that outfit. Late 1970s polyester. Boy, they were just rocking back in the day. Look at that. All right. Oh, that's cool. That's a cool head sculpt. I like that. I do. That's pretty neat. Check this out. Let me zoom in on here. I think one of the challenges with this particular character or figure is that it caters to a different generation. This is it really does. I mean, yeah, you can. I mean, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, New Hope. These films are still being watched, and they introduce a new fan base. But because this is a Hot Toys and because of the price point and what this thing commands, it's really only going to attract a more aggressive crowd, a more dedicated, emotionally connected crowd. That's a kick-ass head sculpt. I like that. That's pretty neat. Check him out. I'm doing the little disco dance there. Hello there. Hey.
So I'm adding sort of like a bonus audio track in this segment here because I realized that after the whole experience of unboxing this Lando figure, my opinion did change. So I wanted to add some final thoughts on here. This scene right here is that I was a little bit concerned about the neck. Well, not so much the neck, but the actual clothing stain in the neck. That's become a big problem for collectors as the years go on. And this is a figure that I'm going to keep for a while. I don't plan on selling this Lando. I don't think we'll ever get another Bespin Lando this good for a very, very long time. In fact, the last time a Bespin Lando was released was by Sideshow Collectibles, and it was well over a decade ago. So this is something that's going to be with me for a very long time. I like the boots here. I like that they took the extra effort to attention to detail to these late 1970s boots in the platform. It's features like this that provide the 1/6 scale the extra benefit in buying this figure in 1/6 scale, because that's something that's typically not shown in a 6-inch figure or even a 3 3/4 inch action figure, because typically for figures like that they usually just use exact same foot or boot or clothing of article or so forth. This is a great looking head sculpt. I have no concerns. I think Hot Toys did a fantastic job capturing the likeness of Billy D. Williams. Going back at this point, I kind of bashed it a little bit, and as the night progressed, I learned to appreciate this Lando figure. In fact, I removed the audio here because I critiqued it a little bit too hard, and it's growing on me. I said the figure was boring, it was very lackluster, and I can see why people would second guess this figure. But to me, I don't know, something about it feels like movie history now. So it's growing on me where I'm beginning to appreciate it. It needs the cape, so I'm gonna get the cape here. So that was something that I like. No, it wasn't fair. Like, I really am growing to like this figure. I love the whole pattern here of the cape of that 19. I mean, that extra attention to detail, the shoulder bands on there, which make it very easy. You can pose Lando with or without. I can't imagine why somebody would want to pose Lando without his trademark cape. In fact, the cape is Lando. Lando is the cape. It's an ensemble set, so it just wouldn't work. That's me sniffing the cape because it was giving off some fumes, and I was getting high off of it, and that's it right there. So we're gonna go back to the cape here, and kind of that whole Dracula look here. So that's, you gotta focus on there. I'm telling you, that is Billy D. Williams from 1978, and we jump over to the diorama backing. I wish this is something that I went easy on this, and I'm gonna flip. I'm gonna go a little bit hard, because for the Bespin Leia, they went a little bit extra with the styrofoam plastic mold, and in this they gave you the cardboard backing. I said at this point when I was doing it that I wish Hot Toys would include more backdrops to help sell the illusion of the figure, to help it come alive, and so forth. So I just wish that they used a better material for the backdrop so it could blend and match with the Leia. It doesn't come with a lot of accessories. But again, it's Lando from the administrator from Cloud City. It's not like he had a lot of accessories, and that is trademark blaster, and that other piece was a stormtrooper blaster that I'm assuming he picked up when he was chasing through the corridors. So I don't remember him holding this pistol, but it's not like I was paying attention from when I was watching the film on here. I'm gonna use everything. This is one of those sets where I'm gonna that's his little Star Trek wristband communicator that will be attached. Very cool, little cool piece there. I will be using the base. Sometimes I'll use the base, sometimes I don't. I want to help blend the marrying of the Bespin Leia and the Lando, until I know for certain that we're going to get a Bespin Luke or a Han. I'll would love to devote more space into my module cases and build a whole Empire Strikes Back setup. Now here I'm critiquing the actual cape, where it's too stiff. I feel the cape should hug his chest. I feel the cape should be more worn. It should look like it has years of weathering, because he's been the administrator for such a long time. So what I'm gonna do here now is I'm gonna use an old TB League Fison technique, and I'm going to wear out the cape because it's too stiff. So I'm gonna add some years, and this is a solution of fabric softener and hot water. And we're just gonna take the cape and we're gonna submerge it. The water's pretty hot, and just kind of beat the crap out of it right there. Oh, I spilled some over there.
All right, so we just have a mixture of hot water. I didn't want to make it too scalding hot, but and then it's just a dash of fabric softener. So we're just going to try to loosen this fabric up. And the whole idea of this is to get the actual cape to hug his body, so it doesn't look like it's a friggin' hand glider. It's way too stiff. Not stiff, but yeah, it's too fluffy. I want the cape to hug his chest closer. So I did a light rinse of cold water, and I'm trying to towel dry it right now. A little bit of wrinkles here, and I'm just trying to pat it dry. I live out in the desert, so this and the air out here is dry, so I shouldn't need more than a few minutes to let this actually dry. If you hear the fan in the background, it's because I actually had this hanging by the side of the table and I was exposing it to air. But it's definitely achieving the look I want, where the actual cape is drooping down, where it's hugging the body more. So I'm gonna expose it to the fan a few more minutes, and then I'll put it on Lando. It's not even wet anymore, it's cold. Cardboard backgrounds, when they're exposed to certain climates, they tend to warp, they tend to age a little bit quicker than the rest of the figure. Especially if your cardboard background is exposed to daylight. It'll definitely age it. But that being said, you shouldn't have your figure near sunlight anyway. The UV rays would affect the plastic body, and it would really sun damage it. I don't know if I'm going to want to use this crotch on Lando. Don't think it's going to work. I don't think so. Alright, I'm just getting him ready. His cape is almost dry, and I'm going to slip it on. Some time to kill, why not? Make it productive. Is add a little wrist, right? Oh, so I guess he uses this one to speak to the people of Cloud City. You really should heat these hands up, but there you go. It's on there, right? I want to return the Jedi Lando. Absolutely. I would get, I'd be all into it. Most people, I guess the situation with Lando is that he's one of those characters that he's more like you only need one. It's kind of like with me. I'll give you an example. Like Doctor Strange, I only need one Doctor Strange in my collection, and I think he's been released a couple times already. And there are collectors out there that are going to want multiple versions of Doctor Strange. But certain characters, yeah, I'll go in all out, and I will buy the multiples. Iron Man, Spider-Man, so forth. The heavy hitters, Captain America. But for Lando, he's considered more of a B-list / C-list character. So most collectors, I would speculate, would probably just get one version of him. But he's part of the classic trilogy. So I would get the second version of Lando if they ever decided to move forward with it. I would. Yeah. So it's been 15 minutes, and I think it's safe enough to put the cape on him now. Should be able to achieve the look now. Let's see if... Yeah, I have to say, I think it came out pretty well. It definitely did relax the cape, I gotta say. It hugs his body and his upper chest a lot closer. You do have to finesse, and you do have to kind of crimple it and so forth, but it definitely does work. And it didn't, like I said, for me, it took maybe 15 minutes to dry after I patted it. I did not expose it to a dryer. I did expose it to a fan on high, but I mean, otherwise, yeah, I'm happy with the results. And you know, something else too I noticed is that I noticed that I did remove a lot of ink. So you'll have to tell me if you notice a color fade. I don't see a color fade, but when I did expose it to fabric softener and hot water, it did bleed some of that blue. So it could be a good thing or maybe a bad thing. Yeah, it works. I mean, you have to style it, but yeah, I'm actually came out a little bit better than what I thought. And you do have to play, the collar looked like it was damaged. I would have preferred to have him hold the blaster. I mean, I guess I can still have him hold the blaster in his left hand as he's, I guess it could, yeah, I guess you can still make them. And the fabric softener, super hot water, few minutes. I mean, I just, few minutes in that bucket, and that actually worked out pretty well. And I'll add some tack for the collar here. It looks like it's not bending right. You know, it just dawned on me when I'm setting up this pose that maybe I probably didn't set that diorama background right, because it seems like it's just a little bit too short for the overall look. I mean, I guess you could set it up in this manner if you wanted to slip it into a D-top, because in the D-top you only have about 12, 13 inches tops, and Lando's already pushing 12 inches. So if you wanted to use this backdrop with this height, you could, but I'll show you what I'm talking about. Background can actually expand its height depending on, I guess, where you want to pose them. So this to me looks a little bit better, this actual height here. I'll get Leia. I want to see what he looks like next to Leia. Let's see how that works. The cool thing with Bespin Leia is that she also has a backdrop of Bespin Cloud City, but hers is more of a styrofoam mold. It's not cardboard, so it doesn't. It tends to. I guess you can set them aside together, or I guess that's the backdrop to her bedroom, but it kind of works. Maybe here, let me add some more characters to this if I can get this to pop. This shot just brings back tons of like nostalgia and then my love for this film, and I know a lot of fans really do feel that Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars film, and it probably, I mean, I think it is, but I think the one that I tend to connect with more is still Return of the Jedi. That being said, though, it wouldn't stop me from supporting this line. It's a shame that the anniversary was last year for 2020, and so much has changed in the world. But just having this whole setup like this, R2-D2, especially C-3PO, a character that, I mean, this guy here was purchased back in 2013, and Hot Toys has yet to make their version. This is the Tamashii Nations, the Bandai Tamashii Nations diecast. Probably one of the best version of 1/6 scale C-3PO. And this is Bespin Leia. I ended up picking her up early last year. And this is the Force Awakens R2-D2. And yeah, there's a few characters that are missing from this lineup. Bespin Luke and Bespin Han. So I would welcome the addition of those characters to this lineup, but are we going to get it? I don't know. I'm not holding my breath, though. We're looking at so many pre-orders and pre-order drops from the Star Wars line right now. I wouldn't lose any sleep if they decided to move forward with it or not. I think our plates are full right now. This is still a great figure. I call it boring. It's not. We don't really get to see Lando in a heroic manner in Empire Strikes Back until the very end. In fact, anything his redeeming arc is in Return of the Jedi. But still a welcome addition to my collection. So I'll end the review with Lando with the second look, because this version of Lando was not the first version of Lando Calrissian that I purchased. The first version is the Return of the Jedi Skiff Guard here. That was released by Sideshow early this year. So I did not do a review on this guy. I didn't do an unboxing or anything. In fact, I really didn't want to comment on this because I would have eventually just bashed the hell out of it. This was, I think, a shortcut version of Lando the Skiff Guard. This version came with 2 head sculpts. Well, it came with a head sculpt. Came with the Lando, the sculpt of Billy D. Williams, and this version with the helmet. I ended up selling the Lando Calrissian head sculpt because I thought it was horrible. I felt it was an insult to the actual actor. I felt this was acceptable just to keep this version. And I sold a head sculpt on eBay for $40, and I just kind of used that to kind of justify this purchase because I typically am not a big fan of 1/6 scale Sideshow collectibles. This was made by Sideshow Collectibles, and they tend to take shortcuts when it comes to their 1/6 scale figures, especially when it comes to like the stitching, color palettes, accessories. This passes the mark. This is a background character in Jabba's palace, so I felt it was good enough to meet my expectations for the price point. That's the problem, is that Sideshow tends to ask a lot. So I want to see if this head sculpt would actually work on this one here. So that's what we're gonna. Oh, you know what? It's not. Maybe. Oh, it's not actually going to, because this is a neck sculpt, and then this one is just a head sculpt, so it would not work. You see how you can, there's this would just pop out, right? So there's a ball joint on there, and then this Lando actually is a head sculpt with a neck, so this would not work. So I brought this up thinking maybe I wanted to see what this version of Lando would look like on this, but now that I look at it, it's not going to work. In fact, even the skin tone is wrong. Version hands, and you can see, if I show this in the camera, there's a big skin tone difference right there. So it's crap like this that drives me bonkers with Sideshow. Is they take shortcuts and they hope that collectors won't notice. That's this pigmentation is way too dark. I'm telling you, I wish I had the head sculpt. I felt it was very offensive to the actor, Billy D. Williams. I quit. I mean, like within days, I sold it. I did not want that in here. The packaging was horrible. The box that came in wasn't done right. I threw away all that. The only thing I kept from the purchase is this, and and this head sculpt, and then the accessories. And then I threw this guy in the background to my palace, to my diorama for Jabba's palace that I have. But this is what I'm talking about. The skin tone does not even match. It's it's just bad. It's bad. Well, I had fun with this review, and hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe we'll get more love from The Empire Strikes Back from Hot Toys. I kind of doubt it, though. I hate to be a Debbie Downer. I think Hot Toys has crossed this line already, this finishing line, and I think they're focusing more on the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi, which will be in 2023. So never say never. They can still surprise us. I would be extremely surprised if we get a Bespin Luke, and I will do cartwheels if we ever see the light of day on a Bespin Han. I just don't think we'll ever see a Bespin Han anytime soon. I'm talking years. Bespin Luke, maybe, if once they catch up to production, since we're looking at over 40 pre-orders, including drops. It's quite a lot. There's a lot of Star Wars coming inbound and in pre-order, and Star Wars collectors need to be able to support this line so that Hot Toys can see that there's value in releasing more figures and characters. If we don't support the line, and signs of cracking in the foundation start to show where there's tons of dead stock, and and no one's buying this stuff, yeah, it could definitely damage the IP. It can definitely send a signal to Hot Toys that there's no market for this. So anyway, like, subscribe, leave your comments below, and shop around. Look always for the best deal. I got this from Lion Rock Toys. They're based out of Hong Kong. Check out their sale page. They always have certain figures that are below retail, based off of U.S. retail pricing. So bookmark them, check them out. They are definitely worth a look. And Danoby2 says,